on these types of things so you guys can become self-sufficient, all right, which is how to jump in and out of trades efficiently, how to really get yourself in the right mindset to keep up with these trades, and how to stay with the journals. Okay, what I want you guys to make sure you do this week is to journal all your trades for the week. All it takes is you write down what pair, how many pips you won or lost, and what was your risk. Okay, so what lot size did you use and how many pips did you risk? And this is going to start to give you an idea of, am I using consistent risk? Am I over leveraging at any point in the week? Okay, and it's going to help you just keep track. At the very end of the week, we'll review all of these together. All right, if we're all taking the same trades, we should all have the same things. I've given you guys the MyFX book link and the link to the investor's password. You guys can actually put it on your MetaTrader, and you can flip through the different screens, and you can see the trades that we're in, and you guys can also go ahead and look at your own trades. Okay, so this is just to kind of keep track and kind of get an idea of how to enter and exit trades efficiently on your own time. So you don't have to keep waiting for a signal of when to take profits, when not to take profits. You guys are going to start to understand these things by yourself. So make sure to keep a journal of all your trades for this week. All right, let's get this week started.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's just go ahead and start looking at the pairs we're looking to execute on. Wanted to go ahead and start off with this AUD NZD. The reason I say this is because if you guys remember, we sent this pair out, I believe May 7th. You guys can see I got the screenshot right here when it first broke out of that channel. We said it could either bounce off the 38 Fibonacci or the 61. And looking at the 61, you guys can see we had some potential support and resistance, and looks like an inverted head and shoulders. So you guys can see we are currently at that 61 fib. You guys can see on the daily time frame, we are seeing some slowdown. We have 1, 2, 3, almost 4 days. Okay, so scaling down a little bit on the 4 hour. You guys can see if it does break this this trend line right here, break, retest, continuation, we could potentially get all the way up to the top of this channel, potentially even further if we break. Okay, so this would be a good 80 pip move. All right. The pair I'm looking to execute on is the reason I say this is because it's been on a higher time frame.
Niche throwing out pairs. Awesome. In the chat.
Yeah, just a little echoing from the mics. I just mute a couple people. All right, so to continue, your host Chef. Reason I say this pair, you see we're back at this trend line. Looks like it's a 61 fib. Check, check, check. Can you guys hear me? Sergio.
Yes, hearing.
All right, perfect.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So going back, we're at the 61 fib and scaling down on the daily. Okay, it looks like a potential inverted head and shoulders forming. Same like AUD NZD. If we break this trend line, break, retest, continuation, we could potentially get back to these past resistance zone. You guys can see price is just bouncing in this area. And if you guys were on our past call, we said that there's only 3 ways price can move. And if you guys remember, it's up, down, and sideways. Okay, so what that means is price is going up, you want to be buying low. Okay, and if price is going down, okay, you want to be selling high. Okay, there's only 2 ways to make money, and there's only 3 ways the market can move. Okay, it could go sideways. Okay, you can sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. Okay, so it's really simple. All right, you guys. So essentially, you guys can see prices essentially just ranging. Okay, so we want to be selling and buying. All right. See. So yeah, though it does look like it broke and retested, okay, we can get a bounce or break situation. So we can essentially break above or break below this trend line. That is a daily trend line. Okay, break, retest, continuation. All right. Euro NZD, another pair we're looking to execute on. We call this pair in our public channel. All right, and essentially what we're looking to execute on this pair, you guys can see we're at the back at this well-respected resistance zone. Okay, you guys can see we have some past support, and this market is ranging. Okay, so essentially when the market is ranging, again, just like we just said, market goes sideways. Okay, there's only three ways the market can move. Okay, so essentially we want to be selling at the top and buying at the bottom. All right, now scaling down, we can see we broke this upward trend line. Okay, so we're looking for a break, retest, continuation. All right, and that would be an inverted head and shoulders and potentially 61 Fibonacci. Okay, so really simple setups. All right, break, retest, continuation. Do you guys have any questions at all of why we are looking at these trades? Anything at all? You guys don't hesitate to stop us. All right. So we got a couple pairs. Pound NZD and niche looks exactly like Euro NZD and Euro AUD. We did call that pair out. Just GN bullish. We'll go over GN. Okay, so other pair I'm looking to execute on is GJ. We did call this pair, if you guys remember. I don't know if the market opened yet, because you guys can see on a daily time frame, it's up here. We're going down on the 4-hour. It's still down here. Okay, there we go. So you guys can see it gapped above. Okay, if we do get this third touch on this trend line, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 61 fib. Okay, I'm looking to get in on this buy. You guys can see we have the inverted head and shoulders, and you guys can see we had the break of this trend line. All right, and you guys can see we cleared these past swings. Okay, so essentially that's what we're looking for on GJ, break, retest, continuation. All right, and again, just the inverted head and shoulders, break of the trend line, and support to resistance. The right shoulder is going to form right here. Yes. This is where I'm looking to execute off the third touch on this trend line. Support to resistance. Oh, of course. So retest of it right here. 1, 3, 2. Oh, you're saying you'd like to see a cleaner impulse before you get in? Well, just by definition. It's gotta be before. Oh yeah, that's the neckline up there. So we're getting in before the neckline. So we're getting in early. So we're getting at the perfect entry. All right, so Roy was saying he would like to see it push up here. Let me do that one more time. We'd like to see the neckline form. But I'm looking to execute on that shoulder. Fix this right here. You guys can see we have the inverted head and shoulder. So essentially, we have price breaking the downward trend line, retest over here. Okay, and okay. And last pair, I believe, is just actually a couple more pairs. NU looking for some. Just going on a higher time frame. Okay, we're identifying this pair. You can see it's ranging. All right, so when it's ranging, you want to be buying at the bottom and selling at the top. Okay, and essentially scaling down. You guys can see we are getting some rejection at the top of this zone. Okay, and just going down on the 4-hour. You guys can see we do have that upward trend line. So if it does violate this trend line, we can potentially catch this pair to fall all the way back down, or even halfway would be a great move. Okay, about 200 pips. Okay, so when the market's ranging, you want to be buying and selling at these well-respected zones. All right, you guys. USD CAD, just going on a higher time frame. You guys can see we broke this weekly trend line. Okay, strong weekly close, break above or break outside the trend line. You guys can see our moving averages cross, signifying sellers in control of the market. All right, and essentially, if we scale down to a lower time frame, I'd like to see a retest before we continue. Take profits would be these past zones. Okay, these purple zones we could essentially look to take profit at. Okay, so you guys can see we're back at this zone right here, so we could potentially get a retest, pullback before we continue. USD JPY, we called this in our public channel as well. We're looking to see, I am seeing this bullish. I'd like to see a retest of this zone before I enter. The reason I say this is just by looking at looking at price action. You guys can see we have our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our fifth wave is complete. Okay, so I'm looking for an ABC correction. We had just looking at these candlesticks down here, indecision, a strong hammer. Okay, price came down and buyers brought it right back up and it closed above this zone. What zone is this? You guys can see it looking at the past. It was well respected if we look at the 4-hour time frame. Strong engulfing. Okay, and we had that indecision. Okay, but I wasn't convinced because the way this candlestick closed right after the doji. Okay, if it closed below it, then I would have been convinced that this would have continued to follow this trend line. But as you guys can see, it closed above this candlestick, okay, and above the MA, and you can see price gapped up above, okay, and going down to the 4-hour, you guys can see we have a inverted head and shoulders. Okay, so this is what I'm looking to see. This is what I'm looking to execute on. All right, break, retest, continuation, inverted head and shoulders. This is my strategy. I'm looking for a 61 fib entry. Anytime I see this trade, I'm going to execute on it. The reason is this is what I like to trade. Okay, so if you guys have any questions at all, please hit us up in the chat. See any pairs you guys want us to go over, or Roy, if you want to go over any pairs you're looking to execute on. Share the screen. That's great.
Screen share. Okay. All right, what's going on, everybody? So main focuses this week, guys. After the G20 meeting, USD. Okay, so USD was having a lot of bearish momentum because we didn't know what was going on with the interest rates and with the tariffs. Now we know. So what's going to end up happening is that the dollar is going to start gaining strength after those trade meetings. And so all of the USD pairs that we're looking at, since they've all hit a key resistance level, we can start to see some upside movement. All right, so I want to focus on the USDs this week. I want to make sure that we focus on USDs, and I also want to make sure that we focus on Euro AUD and Euro NZD. They're two huge pairs. So it's going to be UCAD, gold, Euro AUD, and Euro NZD are my main focuses. We'll go through gold first. All right.
Yeah, I should go.
All right, so gold's at this resistance level. It's at this neckline. So as soon as it breaks to the downside, there's a lot of room to the downside, guys. Institutions are going to start selling this down. They're going to be very cautious. There's a lot of areas of resistance right here. You guys see where all of these wicks are?
So on its way down, it's going to have a bumpy road, but it's going to, once it clears this level, institutions are going to start getting greedier and greedier and going to bring price down. Okay, so we're expecting that as the dollar goes up, guys, or as the dollar gains strength, gold's going to be going down. So we're kind of starting to see these dynamics play out. It might, because you have Mondays, you know, a little bit of fake outs. People are going to be a little bit hesitant because they want to see how the market opens and how other traders are reacting. Maybe we could see a pullback. All right. We have this trend line right here, so we can see a pullback to this trend line. Price drops. If we get a pullback to this trend line, okay, 618 retracement, but then a drop, that'd be something that we could see. Okay, a drop right away probably would be a little bit sketchy. Once it breaks this last low, then I think we're good. It's the 1400 line, the 1400 key psychological level. If it breaks and closes below the key psychological level, guys, it's officially bearish. So we're going to be trying to catch, like, what is this, 300 pips to the downside? It's about 500 pips to the downside, guys. A lot of downside potential for this move. So we're going to be keeping an eye on it this entire week. Euro AUD. It looks like price opened at the area of resistance right here. So we're going to see how it responds. This is like a breaker bounce situation. Do you guys see where this resistance is right here? This is where the support turned resistance. Price came down, and now we have price opening down here. So if we get a retracement and drop, then we can sell it all the way to the downside, okay? We're not gonna try to guess any of these moves, guys. We're gonna wait for them to play out. Sundays, price is opening, not too many traders in the markets. Mondays, a lot of people, a lot of confusion, indecision, manipulation on Mondays. So we're gonna see how the market sort of sets itself up. Once we catch a really good sense of how the market is going to be fundamentally and technically, and we have our confirmations, like Professor O was saying, you have to have your set of confirmations. Once we have all of these things lined up, then we're going to see where the market's going. We can just attack it and hold it for the rest of the week. So it's at that area of resistance, break or bounce, and then Euro NZD is the last one. You guys can see where we're going to be. If we break this area, we have this entire area to the downside, all right? So Professor O was saying this potential head and shoulders up here to be forming before a drop, okay? Then we can kind of see like maybe a 500, 600 pip move to the downside. I'm gonna go through USD JPY, that's the last one, and then we're gonna let you guys ask some questions. And then let's really get you guys' feedback to see how we can make the signals a little bit more efficient this week. Kind of talk with you guys to see how we can make scheduling a little bit easier for you guys and to talk about scheduling options. Maybe using Google Calendar that we're all affiliated with, and you guys can go through and just schedule different time options. So we can make this thing a little bit more streamlined and give you guys a little bit more like ease of access. So you guys can just go on there and schedule it whenever you want. We can check it and then approve your session, et cetera, et cetera. All right, through Euro or USD JPY. I was just doing a little model demonstration. So let me move all this. We got to go to the daily for this. Fibonacci. So if price can get back up to the 618, which is the previous support level of last week, or sorry, last month's support levels in May, if it can get back up here and retest these regions, because USD is going to start to see some bullish momentum, as soon as it gets back up here, we can start to see some downside movement. All right, but right now I think USD JPY is also bullish. Do not try to look for sells. I know it's a break and retest situation. We have this entire area of support and resistance right here. Okay, but because of the way that the market's looking fundamentally, we only want to be looking for USD buys, looking for USD sells, which would be very counterintuitive to the way the market is moving. And then GBP AUD is the last one. So you guys remember we caught this buy after we had a double bottom. Now we have this break and retest right here. So we're expecting to sell this off. So we're going to be trying to find an entry to hold for the entire week, guys. We had a really clean break and retest of this zone. If we look at it on a smaller time frame, really nice harmonic right here. So this could be the first trade of the week, since this one is already starting to move, and it looks like price is breaking below the last low. So depending on how this closes, this could be one of the first trades that we take. All right. This will drop. If we can get a clean break below and close, retest and close, then we can enter. So our entry would be right here for GBP AUD. And that leaves us with about 5 or 6 pairs, right? It makes us USD CAD, Euro AUD, Euro NZD. Right now, GBP AUD, and then gold.
The pairs that we called out.
The pairs that we're looking at in total this week.
GJ.
And GBP JPY. Yep. So guys, make sure to keep your journal this entire week. Just figure out how much money you're losing on a day-to-day basis and how much money you're making on a day-to-day basis. How can you start, fixing that? How can I start leaving my trades running for longer? Or which trades am I closing too early that could have left me more, did I leave some money on the table? Start to figure these things about your own trading habits and you'll actually improve week to week. If you keep letting it go, then you probably won't see any improvement because it'll always just be like, I feel like I'm doing better, but I'm not really doing better. You can't really see tangible results. You can't see real money because you're not keeping actual track. So to actually see results and to see tangible money, quantifiable income that you can bring in, you have to take very good measurements to keep track of all your trades and even keeping track of your trading psychology while you're trading to make sure that you're constantly improving. All right, does that make sense for you guys? I know it's asking for a lot, but it really just takes like 2 or 3 minutes at the end of the day. You go through the list of trades that you've taken. It shouldn't be too many positions, and you just write them all down in your journal. End of the week, we'll all go through them together on a call, and then we can all just have real growth and improvement. Let's see. Yep, got it. All right, do you guys have any more questions for Professor O and myself? You type in the pairs. I'm going to write the pairs that we're looking at in the chat right now. All right, yeah, that's a good question. So when it comes to the investor's password, that's pretty much going to be on your MetaTrader. So the same way that you guys have MetaTrader, okay? You guys see the login on the top right where it has your name? You're going to click that and it's going to give you an option to sign in. You're going to say, it's going to ask you if you're a trader or you're an investor. You're going to do investor. Because as a trader, you're going to have access to the account. We can't do that. But an investor just lets you look at the account. So sign in as an investor, and then you can go through from account to account. You can look at your own account, and you can look at the investor's account. And then also on top of that, maybe every week or 2 weeks, we'll post a MyFX book actual spreadsheet of all the trades that we all took together, and to show you guys the total pip count and stuff like that. But to actually log in on MetaTrader, it's just go to your MetaTrader app, click where it says your name, and it'll give you an option to add an account. Is it Hugo's Way, the broker? Yeah, it is. All right. This is a minimum leverage account. And it's going to be a micro account. So we're going to start it with a micro amount of money. We're going to do micro leverage, which is 1 to 50. So we're going to play this as responsibly as possible for you guys to show you guys how slow and consistent growth, how that can actually grow your account to something that's way bigger than short-term huge hitters. Because short-term huge hitters are always followed by huge cuts in your equity. You can't have a series of 3, 4, 5 winning days, a series of 2 or 3 weeks without having a few losses along the way. And usually the more greedy that you get, it usually cuts into your account. So we're going to show you guys how using responsible leverage and responsible lot sizes with an account that's a micro account, how you can grow that to something that's a very substantial amount of money. All right. And that's hopefully that show you guys like right in front of your eyes that this thing is possible, that you don't have to have a big winning day to make all your money and, you know, win your whole week back and all this. You can just play this responsible game where you lose small along the way. You play the probabilities game, and then you leave your runners going responsibly. And, you know, you only put things in break even when it's time, but you do put them in break even eventually. And all of these things put together, we're going to show you guys how they play into growing your account. All right, I'm excited. We're gonna be